The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening with another episode of The Soup. Of course, I am your host this evening, Surgeon.
And I'm your girl, Cindy.
Chocolate.
And I'm Huma.
And at this point, this is where we say welcome to one of the newest ladies to join us on The Soup, Miss Tamar. Huma, welcome.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, this is the first time you've been on set with us, but offset, meeting the girls, and what's the vibe like so far for you?
I love it. I feel like I'm at home. I did not have to, shine the corner because I'm getting the looks. So I actually love that. I love that. And it's definitely a pleasure to be here. I have to see that.
Welcome.
Welcome. This evening, we have a really fantastic show with you, our viewers, and we will be joined in by some absolutely beautiful ladies who are definitely going to be sharing their experiences in the world of pageantry. Before we actually get to that segment, I just want to touch a little bit on last week's show. We had a fantastic time with none other than Spider.
Yeah.
Of course, we enjoyed and we learned where he actually got that nickname from. I think that was a really, really, really great show because we got to see the man behind the politician.
That's right.
Yeah,
the family man, the farmer, the sports enthusiast.
The guy who does laundry.
And the guy who he thinks out of the box because he's no longer just seen as Spider as his nickname. It is now his official name.
Yeah.
He actually made it legal.
I actually learned from him how Caribbean men could cook. Like he
can
really
make a good stew.
Yeah, well, make a good stew. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
And he got a whole bunch of points from Surgeon.
I think that's really important because a lot of the time when you're in society and you're looking at the politician, it's difficult to relate to him as a person. And so I think that was a good opportunity for him to actually show the populace that, hey, I'm not just that politician. There's a man behind.
I mean, we definitely need to send a loud shout out to our sponsors as well, Sandals Grand. We are definitely at this beautiful resort once again, and we'd like to thank them so much for hosting us again for The Soup. Also, Anya.
Yeah, I meant to ask you, I wanted to ask you, who are you wearing?
Yes, Oya really did. I think she captured our personalities with those outfits.
Yes,
so
she did.
it's quite awesome.
She captured Surgeon's neck with this piece.
Yes. Yes, absolutely beautiful.
I can't stop gazing at it.
It is definitely a statement piece. So for those of you who are looking to jazz up an outfit and you don't have that statement piece to really, make you stand out in the crowd, you need to check Oya out.
Yeah, and if you want to look a little natural but still capture the look that you're looking for, look at Cindy. She's wearing grapes.
And grapes. And I mean, if you want to walk in town and you're the only person wearing an outfit, check out Oya, please.
At the yard. It's right there, Rodney Bay.
I actually think you should own that dress.
Listen, I'm owning it in so many different ways right now. Also, we want to say a loud shout out to our makeup artist, the Dollhouse. She has definitely taken care of our face and we are beat for the gods.
Yes, she's awesome at what she does. She is. I like the natural look that I'm wearing today.
It looks really
She did a really good job.
And I mean, we're meeting with some queens this afternoon, so we have to look beat.
Do you see my crown?
I
can envision your crown, sister. Your locks, that's your crown, baby girl.
Now, guys, I just want to touch a little bit on something that everyone has been talking about, the just concluded American elections. And of course, Donald Trump is the president-elect. Persons are for it, persons are against it. What is your thoughts? We'd definitely like to chime in on that. So, of course, you can check us out on Facebook. Don't forget, that's The the_soup. And for all our Instagram lovers, you can definitely check us out at the_soup SLU. We got that. So, I mean, what were your thoughts on Hillary versus Donald Trump, and you know what the outcome was?
Well, it was shaky for me because when I looked at, I was following it from the time I really started to really listen to everything going on from the time Hillary won, and I was like, wait, okay, Hillary versus Donald Trump, that's easy.
That's easy.
That's a no-brainer.
Everybody.
But as we got closer, and I started seeing the feedback he's getting from the crowd and the points he's getting, I'm like, whoa, this is really showing a side of America that I'm probably in denial about. How people think, who they really want to rule them. And it's not just about sounding the best or being the best politician with the biggest words, but who is really down to earth and saying what's really inside. And I think a lot of Americans feel certain things and they don't say it. And Donald Trump was that kind of person. He just said whatever was on his mind. He had to apologize a couple times. Yeah, but
you know, you made a number of really good points. I agree with you on a number of things. One of the things that I really thought about this election is that the young people were behind Hillary, and they were so disappointed that you saw protests.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, we don't have to be so afraid. I think there were a number of good things that were overlooked.
Yeah.
For example, Kamala Harris, who was the Attorney General in California at the time,
Right.
she got elected U.S. president, and she is the first black, as well as the first black person, as well as I think the first new U.S. senator in 24 years. So that was one of the good things.
And I think as women we need to be very happy of the strides that we have made. Especially with the fact that little less than 100 years ago, women were not able to actually vote. So I think we definitely need to be happy and proud to the fact
Very
that
much so.
at least we have some women in prominent positions definitely doing their thing. So
Guys, I know I don't mean to cut us off on everything, but it's time for a little break. So viewers, grab a cup of coffee, maybe some cocoa tea,
or a bowl of soup.
And we'll be right back, okay?
The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
Hi viewers, welcome back to The Soup, and we are joined with a beautiful young lady, I should say young queen, by the name of Anya Charles.
welcome Anya. Now, Anya, just tell us a little bit about yourself, because you have been a part of the world of pageantry before, and you have participated in some of the pageants. So just give us a little background.
Okay, well, I am the first runner-up to the Miss World contestant, and the second runner-up to Miss Universe, and that's in 2012. I did that pageant. So I wouldn't say really that I'm involved. I only did one pageant and had 2 titles.
That was the aha moment for us, right? In learning this one. But I mean, earlier on, before you came on set, we were actually discussing the strides that women have made in society and being more in the forefront and prevalent. What are your views on that? Because pageantry is one where a lot of people just believe it's all about beauty and that's it. There's no brains involved, nothing to do with intellect whatsoever. And it's a little more than that. So what's your take?
It's definitely a little more than that. When I went into pageantry, I started because I wanted to make a difference as well. I wanted to be a female who inspired other people, and that's exactly what it's about. I was discouraged, to be honest. A lot of people thought that being in a pageant, it was all about just beauty, and that's not how I looked at it at all. The swimsuit segment, which is a big topic right now, because I think the Miss World, actually they canceled that part of it, that segment. I think when you have the swimsuit segment, it shows your health, your physique, how everybody goes to the gym, they want to be fit, not only for carnival time.
Right.
But yeah, that's just what it is. You go in there and you want to make a difference. You want to show people that yes, I can be in a 2-piece, but I can also look elegant, I can also look beautiful.
Right.
And that's what it's about. But I'm a proud woman, to be very honest. I'm a proud woman. I'm trying my hardest to have the youth look at me like someone I could be a role model.
So a lot of them see you as a beauty queen, being fit and able to speak and so on. But what have been the academic aspirations that you have that you could really encourage another young person about? Because a lot of young people want to be in pageantry or music. As a musician, I know of musicians who say, you know what, I'm going to drop off of school because I really want to make some money now and I'm going to go big as a musician.
Yeah. They automatically believe they're going to make it big.
Exactly. So you want to be an example. Tell us a little bit more about that aspect or that side of your life.
Okay, well, I will first of all encourage them to stay in school, that's for sure. Again, once you go into anything, you need to do research. And going to school, you have a basic education, so you have a better understanding. You're able to communicate with people. No matter what you want to do in life, education is important. When I completed high school at the Bonte Prep, I started working, and if I did not have that job at Port St. Lucia, I would not have been able to do my pageant. That's honest.
How is
honest
that?
Truth. Because they were the biggest supporters behind me at the time.
I see.
And again, I had to finish school for me to get the job. So that's just what it is. And I did go ahead and continue my education in human resource management.
Nice.
And yes, again, I want to show everybody that it's not just about beauty. It should be beauty for purpose.
And
you need
brains.
to have brains. That's a no-brainer.
But in the pageantry section, there's always a question segment. So that means you have to study. You have to be knowledgeable of something. So
General knowledge.
Yes, you should have a general knowledge on everything, where you live especially, but you should have a general knowledge.
Now, did you get to follow the actual campaign for the US elections as everybody else?
Yes, I did. And you ask, and I'm so touchy on my input on it. My son is actually a born American, so yes, so you find like the results kind of do affect me in a way, but I'm looking at it in a positive light.
Yeah.
You seem so eloquent, you know how to express yourself, and you can tell that, you know, you're quite comfortable with speaking and conversing, so that's awesome. What about development in your pageantry? I know a lot of people talk about, developing from the pageants that they've been.
Oh yes, that's okay. When I started the pageantry, I want to go back there. When I started pageantry, I was also starting a youth program.
Okay.
Yes. So with my youth program, I felt I needed to educate other people as well, and that's probably one of the main reasons I didn't go back into pageantry. I felt I could have been more of how could I say it? I could have more of a purpose if I dealt with the youth at large, direct, instead of going through pageantry where I send out a message where I could just speak to them directly. So instead of going back into pageantry after 2012, I decided to just work with the youth.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does your youth program entail?
Oh, we're a support network for them, and we're actually starting a movement, a campaign in 2017.
Yes, to the movement.
Yes. It's under the theme Not Because, and we're planning a school tour, we're planning on going to different homes, everything.
Now you keep
What are the
saying we.
objectives?
You keep saying we. So is this you in conjunction with an organization, or do you have other persons being the support for this?
Well, I have other people on board, and we are looking to collaborate with some companies as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you said the theme is not just because.
Not because.
Not because. What's the objective behind the theme?
For example, not because I am a stay-at-home mom means I'm any less of a woman, or not because I am a career woman makes me any less of a mother.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I
So
like that.
Yes.
Not
because.
Not
Yes.
because. Absolutely fantastic. I love that, by the way. Hopefully we're going to be hearing a lot more about that. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a bit.
The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
Thank you so much for sticking with us here on The Soup. And we're now joined with another beautiful queen. As you can see, her crown says it all. You can't miss all those glittery diamonds at this point. We're joined here by Tyler Theophane. Did I get it right? Theophane. I need to get it right. Theophane, the 2016 Carnival Queen of St. Lucia. So welcome to The Soup.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having me.
Can I just rock your crown for a few seconds?
No, you can't.
Talat, again, thank you so much for joining us here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you actually participate in this year's Carnival Queen?
I am 18 years old. I am the youngest carnival queen.
Nice.
Yes.
For this year or ever?
Ever.
And I just graduated from college. I was in A level. I was at A level. That's in Newport. I currently trying to enjoy my reign, and actually I'm really loving it. I am enjoying what I am doing. I am involved in a lot of different youth groups, and I get to speak to a lot of children because that was my focus. I love getting involved. It happened because of my mom, because my mom is a volunteer. She hasn't stopped, and that pushed me to get more involved in what's happening now.
Right.
What happened before also, but what's happening now, because I like to be involved. That's the type of person that I am. And the pageant, I got involved because I always had a passion for modeling and going out and going to talent shows, and I liked speaking up. I liked when my voice was heard. I like to tell you that that's what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do it together. I like to be in groups. I like teamwork. I agree with teamwork. And I also enjoy when you work with me. If we're a team, we're working together. There's no you and you or you or I.
Right.
It's us or we together.
How was the whole experience, being a part of the pageant this year?
And being only 18, can I get your autograph?
I was finishing school when I joined when I got pushed into doing it, because I was afraid. I thought I couldn't do it to manage school because that was my final year, and if I failed, then that means no associate's degree for you, madam.
Right.
So I had to try to manage that. I really enjoyed it. Some nights I would cry because I was stressed. Yes, it is a lot of stress. And sometimes I would really enjoy it. I'd be like, you go girl, you can do this. It was a little bit of both, but you had to enjoy yourself and you had to push yourself, because if you don't have fun with it, the experience cannot be memorable. You cannot make the best of it if you don't enjoy it.
So do you really have to be on a diet, like exercise like 24/7? Is that real?
Well then, I was on a diet and I did lose a lot of weight. When the day of the actual pageant, I was weighing only 90 pounds.
Whoa.
From 120 to 90 pounds.
Was that intentional?
Well then, I was on the diet and I still went to the gym, and then it just happened. I was looking real good though. So
Obviously.
you have to do what you have to do. But it doesn't tell you that you have to go on a diet, you have to look like this. It's something that we came together, we agreed on. And that's what I wanted to do along with my chaperone and my sponsors would tell me, you can do whatever as long as you do your best and you try to have fun with it. But it was the idea that my chaperone and I came up with, since I wanted to look good. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I wanted to look good and impress myself. I wanted to look back and I'm like,
it has a lot to do with your own confidence. Exactly how you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
So you said you were pushed into pageant this year's pageantry, but I want you to tell me, were you pushed or pressured into pageantry, and who made the final decision about the diet?
okay. I always wanted to be the carnival queen. I would not lie about that. But I was afraid because I had exams coming up and I don't like to fail.
An overachiever.
She does not like to
I
fail.
don't like to fail. So I was pretty skeptical about joining the pageantry, the carnival queen show at that time. But my mom told me, you're just an 18. You can do it if you want to. You can manage it. You can balance yourself. Because when I was in secondary school, I did the same thing. I succeeded.
In
I was writing the CCSLC examinations at that time. And
CCSLC.
yes.
So after Louis
Yeah,
going to
no,
come.
that's something you write in Form 3. CCSLC. That's a new thing going on right now.
Okay.
Yes. So I was doing that, and I also took part in the pageant. I was the first runner up.
Okay.
I didn't mind at all because it was last minute, and I still tried my very best. And I was afraid to do, because I didn't want to lose that time. I was afraid to go up, and then my mom told me, you can do it. And she'd always tell me, trying and failing is better than failing to try. So that she kept with me all the time. Yes. So the day before the auditions, she's like, are you sure you're going to do this? Are you sure you don't want to do it? I'm like, Mommy, I want to do it. But at the same time, I'm afraid. She's like, sit, think about it. Then it was about 9 o'clock. I ran, Mommy, here's my biography, I'm ready. And I chose a song the same night, everything, and then I went on, and I got through.
Nice.
Yes.
So what is your diet about?
I had a lot of vegetables for breakfast. I would have oatmeal with almond milk, or some honey bunches of oats with almond milk. Everything was almond milk.
Okay.
For lunch, I would have a bowl of salad, or dry fish, or some chicken that wasn't
Too
had no
fatty?
sauce, and none of that. All of that was gone.
Can you tell that it was torture for her?
Yes, that's the expression.
Yeah.
And for dinner, I would have crackers and ginger tea. Ginger tea was for my throat. And I don't drink my tea with any kind of sugar. So that was a plus for me, but I would be hungry. Don't wake up at 2 when you're in a diet. You will die. You will starve.
Right.
Yes.
So how often do you wear this crown?
I have 2, thank you, Lord. This one is heavy.
This one looks heavy.
It does.
So it's gorgeous.
Thank you, I love it. But it's very heavy. I can't do much movement with it.
So you said you have 2.
And the other one I wear if I have to go to an event in my community, because I am getting involved in well, I was already involved, and now I get to be the
Even further
VIP. And I get to go on to speak to the different schools, my community, the brochures on the whole. I get to go out, and that's when I use that crown.
Okay.
And when I'm up here, or if it's a TV interview, I wear the big one.
Okay.
When it comes to being a carnival queen in St. Lucia, do you think it can be improved?
Yes, it can be improved. I only just started, and I've been to more than 10 different events. Some of them I chose them on my own because of the type of person that I am, how I was involved before. And I can say, yeah, I am willing to do a lot more. I have no problem with doing more. I make the time and I do it.
How do you think it can be improved?
I think that we need to meet up more and discuss exactly what it is that we want to do. And we could get sponsors, we could get people to help us. So I believe that we can just come together, address the issues that we want to address, and we can do it.
You say we, who are you referring
The
to?
people from CPME, my sponsors, Fix, and my chaperone. That's my team.
Now, something that I want to touch on a little bit, that I'm sure a lot of women are probably wondering, you always look fabulous. Every single place that you go or you show up, where do you get all those fabulous outfits? Do you have a sponsor, or is it you? I mean, how do you come up with your wardrobe?
This outfit was sponsored by my sponsors, Fix. And the shirt is from Fashion Block, also known as
The container.
And my shoes from H&M.
Nice.
And my jeans, it was some French name, I can't remember it. But Belle something Soleil
Okay, I can't remember this one.
in the Biwakwa.
Couture de Soleil.
Yes.
I love them.
That sounds like your stuff.
Yes, that's where I got my jeans from. But my sponsors, they sponsored me to get the outfits.
All right.
Yes.
I mean, you definitely sound like you have a sponsor that is very much integral in your representation of yourself, because of course it translates to their company as well. So they're very much involved, and I think Fix is one of those sponsors I think that continues after Carnival
Yes.
Queen, and I think
Very
they
good.
need to be applauded for that.
Hats off
for
to
sure.
Fix.
They even agreed to help me for JC's and Caraval next year.
Oh,
That is awesome.
Oh, and speaking of JC's and Caraval, how's preparation for that going?
I monitor myself. If I find my stomach is getting a little, I put the waist trainer on. I'm like, girl, you have to do this. You have to do this.
Right.
So I monitor myself. It's not that I don't, but I monitor myself. And yeah, that's how. We plan on getting started from before the year ends, so we could be prepared, very, very, very prepared for JC's and Caraval, because JC's is in August and Caraval is in July.
Now, the two of you appear to know what you're talking about. I don't. What is JC's about and Caraval about? Please enlighten me.
These are 2 other pageants, regional pageants.
Okay.
One is in St. Vincent, Caraval is in St. Vincent, and JC's is in Antigua.
Okay.
Both of them are regional pageants.
All right.
So tell me, like, what would you highlight as the pros and cons of being a part of pageantry? Because you keep talking about like being on a workout and being on a diet.
That's all you hear, don't you?
Yeah, like workouts and diets. Like,
Pageantry helps you a lot with education, because you in order for you to be in a pageant, you need to be educated. You need to know stuff. You need to be aware of what's going on, not just...
So you have to be a reader.
Yes, you have to be somebody who's into books. So it's not just about beauty. It's also, you need to be educated. Also, pageantry helps you become more confident, I know for sure. It helps you become even more outspoken if you're not outspoken. It helps you to accept yourself. It just builds a lot of self-confidence. That's one thing I know for sure.
So that's the pros.
Yeah, these are some of the pros. And you get to network yourself also.
Right.
Yeah, because in this world that we live in right now, you need to network yourself. You need it as much as possible because everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to be better.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Now, I love the fact that you said everybody wants to grow, everyone wants to be better. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, I hope to be an environmentalist. I have a passion for the environment.
Okay.
I studied environmental studies and geography, so I got my associate's degree in environmental studies when I went to A-level, that is. I had no training when I went to secondary school, but when I got to A-level, I made up my mind, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm inspired for it.
Excellent. So you do have a hand in environmental, global warming, and so on. So when our president-elect of the U.S. says that he does not believe in global warming, how does that make you think?
I was quite disappointed.
You were?
Very disappointed because America, for sure, you know that it's one of the biggest countries who contribute to global warming. They will tell you that you need to cut down on this, cut down on that. They even had that talk with China one time, and China will not listen if y'all don't do what you're
practice
saying.
what you preach.
Exactly. So I have a big issue with that. If my voice could be heard, so that
No. It sounds like you have some really great aspirations. We can definitely see that future for you.
Yes.
We're here, and of course, we'll be right back. We're asking you to follow us on social media. Of course, Facebook, that is _soup.
Yes.
And Instagram, _soup, SLU.
And before you go, I just want you to share in my excitement. We have more beauty pageants coming on. Some groundbreaking young ladies are going to also be on the set. So if you're enjoying this, stay tuned.
The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
And welcome back to The Soup. I am Chocolate, and I'm here with these lovely young ladies at the Sandals Grand St. Lucia multi-award winning honeymoon destination. Now, usually when we shoot here, I'm all about that place. But today, I'm all about our guest, Roxanne Didier Nicholas. Hi, Roxanne. It's such a pleasure to have you on set today.
It's such a pleasure.
And like you asked me earlier, being on The Soup here and knowing that we're going to be digging into Roxanne Didier Nicholas's life experience and everything about the glamour, how you doing?
I'm good, girl. How you doing?
Oh,
how
we
y'all
just-
doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know about these ladies, but I'm doing good.
All right, so Roxanne, it has been almost a year, or has it been more than a year since you were at Miss Universe?
It's been almost 2 years actually. I participated in the Miss Universe pageant in January of 2015, which was last year. But I was actually crowned as Miss Universe St. Lucia in September of 2014. So it gets kind of confusing for some people sometimes because there was actually no international pageant in 2014.
I see.
So they had the 2014 pageant in 2015.
Wow.
Got you.
Yes. So clear that up.
I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to try to stay with you. So this is big, being a representative for the country at Miss Universe.
Yes.
Tell me, how far back did this whole journey start?
The journey actually began in 2011 when I went up for the National Carnival Queen show. We have our reigning queen, Miss Tyler, who was on with you guys a while ago. But I actually went up for Carnival Queen in 2011. I won. I also captured 4 of the 5 judged
I remember
segments.
that, yes.
I
She
So
rocked it out, yes.
Thank you. That was actually quite an accomplishment because for me, I told myself, best talent, you have to get it. That was one of my goals. Winning everything else that I did was just cherry on top.
What was your
The time I
talent?
could walk,
I danced.
I've been dancing.
Right.
You ever saw that?
Yes, I remember.
Let me
And
tell you.
I saw her dance before the pageant, so when I saw her coming on stage dancing, I'm like, okay, she got this.
So
It was
because
best talent. It was
best talent, swimwear, interview, and
St.
best.
Lucia recently
Wow.
graduated with a
Yes.
degree in
Isn't that like
management studies.
There was
no.
too much.
That's
That's the one I didn't get.
Congeniality. There was
Miss
Congeniality.
Congeniality and Miss Photogenic, but those two aren't judged segments. We vote for Miss Congeniality, and the
Really?
photographers
Yeah.
vote
Yeah.
for Miss Photogenic.
That makes sense, because I was wondering how I used to always wonder why the judges were choosing who is Miss Congeniality
No.
when you guys know what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. No, we vote. We
So
do
it's
that.
always a fair vote.
Exactly. So we are the ones who interact with each other. We know who deserves it, basically. But since I won Carnival Queen in 2011, I had to represent at Miss Caraval and JC's, like Tyler mentioned
Right.
previously, and I won Miss Caraval. And I was the second St. Lucian woman to win in the 27 years in the existence of the pageant. Iva Satney was the first young lady to win in 2010. I participated in 2012.
Very nice.
Then I went on to, well, I was already in university when I started, when I did Miss Carnival Queen. So when I actually went over to Trinidad, some of my hall mates on Milner Hall were like, you need to do Miss U Weavers, it's a play on
Right.
I was like, guys, really, come on. But I did it, I won, I represented the hall and St. Lucia, obviously,
Nice.
because I was the first non-Trinidadian student to win that.
And you
pageant.
won. Who did that girl?
I did. I did. So, and there was actually a St. Lucian on the judging panel, Miss Deirdre Charles. I don't know if any of you know her, but
Deirdre Charles.
she works at the university. So,
Okay.
yes.
Roxy, you sound like you're enjoying all this pageantry.
I do.
like-
It has become a part of me, basically. I initially entered in an effort to develop my public speaking skills, because I considered myself to be quite reserved, because I've only been on stage for dance my entire life.
Right.
Yes.
I share my emotions and everything
Everything
through
through
my
dance.
movement. But I really wanted to develop that aspect of myself, and as you can see, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So,
If you may say so yourself.
if I do say so myself, don't mean to toot my own horn, but baby. So after that, after Miss Universe, I came back to St. Lucia, and I definitely had an interest in Miss Universe, because I felt like it was a good way to cap off the pageantry journey with
For
an
you, yeah.
international
Because
pageant.
you have an age span that
Yes,
that you can actually
do.
participate.
And I was 22 when I came back from university, and I turned 23 a month before I left for Miss Universe. And the age limit, I think, was 26.
Okay.
But still, initially I wanted to do Miss World because it does have a talent segment, but the franchise holder was not in St. Lucia, so I couldn't get a hold of that. So I pursued Miss Universe, and that experience was amazing. And this is actually the dress, for those who may not know.
I
This
was
is
about to
actually
ask you.
the dress that I wore on stage for the pageant.
Glamorous.
How was that experience backstage? Because all of us, we usually see what the camera shows, and that's, you know, when you come on and say, hi, I am Roxanne T.T. Nicholas representing St. Lucia. What happens before we get on stage and you say that?
So much! I mean, it was 88 contestants, 88 people backstage, plus crew, plus chaperones. It's just a lot going on, and to get everybody in a place where they should be, but we had rehearsals for 2 weeks before the actual
Pageant.
show.
Only
Yes.
2 weeks.
Only 2, but we were there for 3. But the entire process was quite exhausting because of the number of events, and obviously they have 1,000,001 sponsors. So we have to
Right.
show up at dinners, at charity events, and then go to rehearsal in the afternoon. So it all comes together nicely on camera, but backstage there's so much going on.
Now, we want to touch on the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you notice, our questions are leaning to all of these things because it's important to understand what's happening so people could even respect you guys even more
Right.
for going on stage.
Right.
Yes.
Now, I remember one time I was backstage because I was a talent, just singing at a pageant. And I know that there was some belly boiling, unhealthy stuff happening with people backstage, nerves, diet, and so on. I remember Tyler was talking about having to go on a diet by her choice. What have you learned specifically about dieting, the unhealthy part and the healthy part about dieting in pageantry?
I personally have never had to go on a diet to lose weight because of my body structure.
I know you had to put on.
Generally, I did. I actually had to try to gain weight for Miss Universe because I was very stressed preparing for the pageant, gathering all what I needed to get. So I did lose weight in the lower parts of my body. As long as I don't have weight hair, you just see how tiny I actually am.
Right.
So I really had to try to gain weight. So I was actually on a protein supplement. I would be in the gym 5 days a week. And it was difficult because I only gained 3 pounds. Like really? But it was quite a struggle.
You probably needed to do the Tyler KFC breakfast lunch.
I did. I had KFC, Subway, everything. Burger King was still there.
And you only gained 3 pounds?
I would gain it and lose it. Because it was, yes, I do have a high metabolic rate and I was still dancing.
So,
So it was very difficult.
Now, I just want to touch a little bit on, assistance, because a lot of people don't realize that when you want to participate in a pageant and you're representing a country or an island, there is a lot of support that one needs in order to get to the stage. I mean, finances is a very big part of pageantry. Right. How has that journey been for you, gaining that financial support when you go out and you represent?
Well, for my previous pageants, I did have the assistance from the government as well as some sponsored items that I got. For Miss Universe, it was slightly different. The government did assist me with purchase of my flight to Miami, as well as paying the franchise fees for the franchise name itself, because without that, you can't go up there and represent. You can't participate. But gaining everything else that I had to get was such a task because my family and I and close friends had to go out and find people to sponsor and help as much as they could so that I could get everything that I needed to do.
Now, you are at university. What did you study?
I studied management with minors in marketing and HR, but I currently work at an accounting firm. I did do accounting courses in my degree, and I am about to begin my ACCA.
Oh, good luck, girl, on that one.
I know. My accounting certification, so
I have a question, and it's kind of off topic. You did Miss Universe. Did you take a selfie with Trump?
Oh, no, I was actually one of the only, I feel like I was one of the only contestants who didn't, because when he won the elections earlier this week, all of my Miss Universe sisters, as we call each other, they just kept posting, and I'm like, well.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier is the fact that your family had to go out and rally and get a lot of the assistance.
Yes.
I know that in some countries, these girls come prepped.
Boy, you don't even understand. I went there with my little 4 suitcases, and some people had 16, 18. I was like, well.
Now, you also mentioned that they came with their chaperones and whatnot to assist. Did you have that sort of support as well? Did you have chaperones to help you?
Well, we all came. They probably traveled with their chaperone, but we were not allowed to have a chaperone there with us.
Okay.
The Miss Universe organization provided, they were put us in groups, so we were groups of 4 or 5, and those 4 people had a supervisor.
Okay.
So in terms of, I traveled alone, but some girls came with someone.
The entourage.
Yes, the entourage. But I did have a lot of family there who came to support me.
Okay, so you weren't on your own.
Yeah, I wasn't on my own. They were there.
I'm very interested in the impact you can have on the public based on whether you could be a public speaker for health, education, positive lifestyles, and so on. So being a Miss Universe contestant, representative for the country, what have you been trying to do using your clout?
Well, I actually have spoken at a few schools. They've called me as a guest speaker to speak on patriotism or loving yourself. The Leon Hess Secondary School especially, I've spoken there twice. They have, is it called Love Yourself, an assembly?
I Am Beautiful.
Yes, I Am Beautiful. I was the guest speaker for that. And also recently I was the guest speaker on patriotism around Independence time. Basically because I have represented
your island.
Yes, so I have been able to influence the youth in some ways, and a lot of them actually message me on social media. They ask me certain questions, and I'm always available to answer anything, any guidance they may need, whether it be in school, pageantry, their talent. I'm there. So.
When it comes to you being a face of something, I noticed Bank of St. Lucia, shameless blind, I'm giving you up. they had you as one of the talents for the latest advertisement.
Yes.
What else have you been able to do being seen in the public eye when it comes to media and broadcasting and advertising?
Well, I did have the opportunity actually to work with Flo. They reached out to me whilst I was still like in the hotel the night after the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys don't play.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they did, and I was able to do a lot of their media for them. I worked with the various media houses, and I did their promotions.
For free?
No, not at
Of course
all.
not.
Because I know billboards, putting your face on a billboard is quite expensive.
So Roxanne.
So you know what? I know it's getting heated here with the conversation, but guys, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a bit.
The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
Welcome back to The Soup. Joining us is franchise owner and a seasoned in pageantry and a lady who can answer all the difficult questions. We have with us Miss Joycey Medrick. Hi, Joycey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I love those earrings.
Thank you. That's all I'm going to say. It's a homemade special.
Oh, really? Nice.
Nice.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I am not kidding about asking you the difficult questions, but we are going to start with something very easy. Tell us a little bit about, some of the franchises that you've owned, and I know that you even started your own.
Yes. Well, just a couple months, let me just go back a little.
Okay.
I've lived a very exciting life in entertainment, pageantry, as you all know. And a couple months ago, there was a change in my journey, which took me back to a place where I started, which was back to the whole showbiz.
Okay.
And so, in my travels, I met with a few friends of mine, and we were, reviewing what you want to do, where do you want to go. And so the idea of St. Lucia pageants came up.
Okay.
And I took it up from there, and started chatting with a few friends in the industry, and so Miss International became available for St. Lucia. So we bought into that. And Miss Regal International, which is an Antigua base, which is my friend Calvin S. But then now that he has, this international franchise, made it available, and so we bought into that as well. And for us, on the local scene, there's Island Hunk, which we started 6 years ago.
Yes.
And the ladies have been, on my case.
Yes,
When are you going to do
Have you
something?
seen the guys?
When are you going to do something for us? And so we decided to launch Island Queen, which is the sister to Island Hunk. And so, that's the direction we're going in.
All right, very nice. And Island Queen, you're currently working on?
All three of them, because of the timelines we're working with. Island Queen, yes, we are still looking for contestants who are interested. It is open to everybody, young mothers, young ladies. It's about it's about second chances. It's about giving you that opportunity that you felt you may have missed. There's no real age restriction to it, except that if you feel you're fabulous and you can make a statement, you can represent something. Because more than that, what we want to do is to also show and impart the knowledge, the experience. It's television driven, just like Island Hunk is. And there's a campaign that will come with it, especially for the young mothers who are trying to, find their place, or to start again, or that sort of thing. So there are messages there.
Now, I want to touch a little bit on the fact that you mentioned that, in your travels, you've actually had some really interesting conversations with a lot of your friends that are in that industry. One thing I find for St. Lucia is that we as St. Lucians, and also the powers that be, government institutions and whatnot, do not see the importance and the value that there is in pageantry, in the world of pageantry, because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. And the fact that not enough investment is being made in that industry, I think is one that in St. Lucia we lack. And for me personally, I always feel that as great as we've always had, young beautiful women go out and represent St. Lucia, I feel sometimes that they go in a little underprepared, especially the fact that you have, these other participants are groomed from young. How do you feel as a franchise owner as yourself, navigating that minefield of gaining the finances to develop this and to make this into an industry for St. Lucia?
Okay, before I touch on the finance part, I believe for any young person who is interested in pageantry or competition, because that's what it is, the investment starts with you.
Right.
So you need, if you really want to be a success, because competition, life is competition. So if you think of life in itself, everything that you go through, you have to make an effort. You have to make an investment in self.
Yes.
So if the approach, if they were to change the mindset and to begin to see it as the world is my competition, then they begin to associate and begin to read up, like you were saying, are you a good reader? Are you following the programs where you want to go? And I say that because I remember when I started my journey as a model, there was this show, Elsa Clench used to host it, Star. It has now come back on CNN. And I used to have to go to church every Sunday. But back then we had VCRs. So I used to program my VCR for 7
Record that, baby.
and I would
Record that.
what is happening in the world of fashion. Go to church, and when I come back, because I have to go to church, my parents insisted, I have to go to church. And so I would sit, so that was one form of education
For yourself.
Okay, and back then, trust me, models were not even considered what we now know them to be. A model back then was considered a prostitute, or there was that always that negative connotation with it. It's a whole education for us here in Thesoupslu. However, going back to the whole financing and trying to impress sponsors, fortunately or unfortunately, in our St. Lucian society, there are some of us who may have given sponsors a bad rap. So as such, it makes it difficult for some of the more genuine ones to get that level of support. But it's a whole education as well, and it's a matter of whether or not a sponsor feels confident enough that you will deliver on what it is you have, decided to trade with them, because it's a trade, okay? So it has its own difficulties, but first and foremost, I think like any investor, if you decide you want to go into pageantry or competition, because it's entertainment as well, you need to make that first initial investment.
Yes.
You can't do it on the basis that, you're going to sponsor me or this person is going to sponsor me. It has to be something that you decide that this is a business you want to go into, and you take the risk that comes with it.
But Joycey, do you think that we in St. Lucia, we make it more palatable for young people to aspire to be a representative of Miss Carnival Queen or Miss Universe or Miss World? Because I'm hearing a lot of them saying, well, I have a full-time job and I have to make time to do this and that. I think, for example, Usain Bolt in Jamaica, the country invests in him. When we have athletes and pageants who have made it in the first place, some countries invest in them by giving them land, car, house, international experience to go out there and represent them. What is in it for our people in St. Lucia?
No, I agree with that. But again, first we have to understand at every level what pageantry is or what the international competitions are all about. We as a nation, we have to get to that place where we are schooled enough to recognize that it is about marketing, it is about your personal branding, and for the persons who get into it, they too have to begin to realize that it becomes a lifestyle change. Yes. So are you disciplined enough? Are you worth my investment? And I'm not saying that government and persons who may have the money should not invest in our youth, should not invest in us, should not invest in because this is a medium as well. But are you disciplined enough? Because that is key. But are you prepared to make the sacrifices required to get to where Usain Bolt is? It can't be just about, I'm going to represent St. Lucia. It's not about St. Lucia. It's more than that. It stems from you. How much are you prepared to sacrifice to gain?
But don't you think we've had girls who are willing to make those sacrifices, and because of the lack of sponsorship or the lack of support that they have, that hinders their ability to actually perform to their optimum?
Oh yeah, I think there are young ladies who genuinely have a passion and a love for that sort of business, and perhaps they're not getting enough support, as well as how creative are they? How creative is the team? Because a lot of the times we place everything on the dollar value, but how creative are you? That these things come into play as well. More than that, like I said, it's all about the personal branding and understanding the market that you're in. you need to find balance in that in what you do. And that I find lacking. Again, I remember as well, I was having a conversation with somebody, and they sort of reminded, because I did have a charm school at one time, that perhaps it is time to reopen the charm school, because even the contestants and the people that get involved, the chaperones and all of that, need that sort of education, because to a great extent we believe.
Hallelujah.
A lot of the times I have found in my experience, sometimes there are young ladies who have the raw talent, but unfortunately the persons in their team may not be equipped. And I'm not putting anybody down.
No,
it's
but
just the reality of life.
There are times that I have been and I'm saying, listen, that chaperone needs a chaperone. Yes. Like it's a hot mess and it's unfortunate. But then, like you rightfully said, that we need to get to the educational aspect for not only the persons going up for the pageants, but as well as, you know, persons who want to assist, because you want to give the right guidance. You know what I mean? Especially if you want that person to succeed, because a lot of the time I think because we watch, you know, 1 or 2 television shows, we already know what needs to be done to get where they need to get for, you know, competition. And that's not always the case.
Yeah, because there's so much that happens behind the scenes that when you see it on television, you just see the final product.
Right.
You don't know what has gone into it, how many outfits were changed, you know. And,
if an outfit, you know, got destroyed backstage, how do you fix it, you know, when you're about to get on here?
So it's a whole re-education from my standpoint.
Hermia looks like she has a burning question.
I do actually, and it's to do with the economic value of pageantry in St. Lucia. Do you think that there is an economic value, and are we actually taking, you know, full advantage? If yes,
yes, there are lots of benefits, like, you know, economic value. For example, again, it goes back to, if you understand yourself, you're a product, and you're marketing self, first and foremost. But you need to educate yourself enough within the context of pageantry and showbiz. Because if you don't, for example, there are lots of contestants that they endorse. Let's look at the national pageant. They're endorsed by various sponsors.
Yes.
But what happens after that? In some cases, I know some sponsors may have them do other stuff, promotions and what have you. But do those young ladies within themselves recognize that if they were to develop self, and I'm not talking about just being pretty, but understanding the balance, understanding your body, understanding your hair, your skin, that you can become that brand ambassador, where outside of the national pageant, when you've moved on, you can actually make a proposal to, say your sponsor was the soup, and say, I would like to be able to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Now, most times we put the dollar value on it immediately, but then it may be that foundation that you're setting to allow you now to develop and become, like you say, another radio personality or television personality, where you sought after.
Yes.
So, but you see, we try to get rich or try to make it too quickly, that we lose the lesson in the process. And I think there's so many lessons there that I would like to share with young ladies, so they understand sales, so they know exactly what it is they're selling.
There's so much more that we need to share with you. Joycey Medrick on set with us here at The Soup. Don't you go anywhere. Stay close. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Soup, brought to you by Fix Limited, a company you can trust.
And welcome back to The Soup. And I know, my viewer, you have been blessed with so much wealth of knowledge and grown intimacy, getting to know our guests. As you could tell, we are queening our pageants right here. So with our Soup panelists, we have, of course, Cindy.
I'm a queen?
Of course you are. You are queening, baby. Hashtag queening.
That's right.
So we have Cindy, we have
Anya Charles.
Anya Charles, we have Surgeon, we have Roxanne, we have Tyler, we have our extraordinaire
Hello,
Joycey, and our new girl Herma. So this has been such a wonderful set, and I hope you've enjoyed the wealth of knowledge of getting to know what's happening with our ladies, not just on stage, but behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, and we definitely want to send a large shout out to all our sponsors, of course, Sandals Grand for hosting us once again, as well as Oya. She definitely knows how to outfit the Soup ladies and get us looking just right.
And you
thank
can't
you.
forget the jewelry.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
a
yes.
big shout out to hashtag the dollhouse for making our face look so
Beat.
beat. Okay.
Don't forget, if you missed anything or you would like us to do a little more of what you're seeing here, you have a guest that you would like us to interview, or you just want to give us your concerns, your views, or your whatever issues you'd like us to address, catch us up on Facebook. It's _soup, Instagram _soup SLU, and of course you could catch up all of what you've missed on YouTube, our reruns. We're on Mondays every night at 7 p.m. and at 10 p.m. on Thursdays and Saturdays.
So, ladies, do you have any last parting words that you like to drop for our viewers?
Or maybe the wave, there's
Yeah,
this.
maybe the
Yes.
queen.
Teach us how to do that. How do you do that?
Do you open, do you close, do you cup? What is it?
I have to learn from them.
Roxanne, tell us.
I mean, I don't do this one. I'm just saying, I just keep it real, like.
And that's important. It's important to remain, just be your true self
Yes.
in everything.
Agreed.
You want to leave any last words with us, Tyler?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for having me, and I would love to be back with you guys because you are amazing.
Definitely.
It was fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed myself.
Well, of course, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Soup. We're going to see you guys next week. Bye.
Give the wave. Bye.